funny to see what it picks up. It's streaming from before because we're using a different software, so it's like streaming before I'm actually ready. I go press anyway. You get a piece of history at the beginning of this stream. So putting my just in case alarm at 4:40. I'm going to try and keep it to about 50 minutes today because I've been sort of running over a little bit and going over to an hour, which I think is too much for people really. So yes, thank you for joining. Welcome if you're new. Really just follow along according to what feels good. So because I can't see you, I'm not teaching directly. You have to come to one of my Zoom classes if you want me to teach directly. But this is just me doing my practice and offering it up for anybody who wants to follow along. So with that responsibility, with that comes the responsibility of doing your own thing and looking after your own body. And really as much as it's a physical training, it's also a training in listening to the body and general kind of embodied awareness. So, what else do I want to say? I'm going to be changing the schedule from next week. So I will let people know on Instagram as usual probably, and I'll change the information on my website as well. But I think, just check for confirmation, but I think I'm switching to 11 a.m. Monday to Friday from next week onwards. So I hope that works for people. And I'm going to lie down. I really thought today was Friday. Time warping seriously at this point. I had to bring myself back from Friday repeatedly today. So I just start by lying on the floor. Noticing how I'm making contact with the ground. And then I roll my head a little. And I just sense what I can sense. I don't try to push or achieve anything in particular. I just see what's easy. So I can notice that it's easier to roll my head one way than the other. And then I pause. And just settle into the ground a little bit more. And I'm going to do a little chunk of really, really soft work at the beginning today. I can feel the pressure in my head different, like with the weather change. I can really feel a pressure in my head. So I'm just going to stand my feet. And I'm going to take my fingertips very softly to the top of my forehead. Actually, just before I do this, I just want to sense what does my face feel like before I start. And my face as part of me, attached to the rest of me. So is there anywhere else that I can soften, make myself more comfortable, release around the jaw, the neck, chest, belly, shoulders, hips, whatever little shuffle I need to do, just to really try and settle into the ground. And I take my attention back to my face and just get a sense of my face, the musculature, the quality of the tissue, my experience of that. I take my fingertips now to the top of my forehead, right at the hairline, which for me is really high up. So right at the top of my forehead, I just put my fingers there and I'm just very gently doing little movements of my fingers against my face, against my skull. I'm going to do it actually facing camera for a bit because it's so minimal. And then I'll lie down again. So the idea is I'm not sliding my fingers against my face or against my forehead, but I'm placing my fingers somewhere And then sliding, and my fingers stick to my skin, and then I can slide the skin around on top of the frente, the forehead, yeah, the skull. So slide the flesh a little bit, and I move my fingers around, and it's so small because seeing as my fingers aren't sliding on top of the skin, but instead I'm sliding my skin on top of my skull, there's not a lot of movement, and I don't want to push to any extreme and stretch my skin. I just want to shift my fingers around and gently move the tissue over my face. And as I do it, I can feel deferring sensations. So particularly for me from my right side, when I take my fingertips more down towards the temple and the cheekbone, I'm going to go down to the jaw as well, jaw and the bones under the eyes. When I take my fingers around the sort of temple area on my right hand side, I can really feel pressure changes, and I can really feel that what I'm doing on the face affects the tissue in the jaw, the neck, and actually my eyes. I can feel the pressure in my right eye changing. And really very sensitively using my fingers just to very softly, very gently squidge my face around. I get right up under my eyes, so I take my fingertips and I take them right under my eyes, so I can actually feel my fingers are like in the line between the eye socket and the eye. And I move them very, very gently. Oh gosh, it goes without saying that you must have washed your hands to do this. Too late now if you haven't. Oh, that's dark, isn't it? So I'm just moving my eyes a little bit. And then release, just make sure that I'm breathing. I want everything to be soft. Ooh, that's a different sensation under my eyes having done that. I take my hands above the eye so that now my fingertips are just above the eye. And again, I'm just really moving the tissue, so my eyes are so soft. My eyes are a soft focus, my eyes are closed. I'm just moving my eyelids so softly over the eye. I realise I can soften in my shoulder, particularly the right hand side as I'm doing it. And I go up from the eyeball, the rim of the socket, over up to the eyebrow, and I'm just very, very gently manipulating the skin. And I just have to give an aside, kind of as a teacher. If you're trying this and you just can't sense it, you can't feel it, just keep trying different types of touch. Don't make any assumptions about what's going to work. I'm coming down now to my cheekbones. Once I get to the outside of the nose, I'm just running my fingers into the crease that's the side of the nostril. And I'm pushing up. And that really just opens the sinuses, so it's just a nice little trick to open the sinuses and take a deep breath. And I just keep doing that very gently with my fingertips, opening up my cheeks, kind of like as if I'm following the lines of whiskers coming out of my nose, like cat whiskers kind of coming out from the side of my nose. I'm going to just place my fingers there where the whiskers might be, and then pull up, gently up and away from my nose to open up the sinuses. Now that hopefully anybody watching has got the idea, I'm going to lie down again. Settle back into the ground and keep going. So I'm taking my fingertips now right round to the side of to the underneath the jaw. And I just want to feel the shape of the jaw. And there's obviously musculature around the jaw. So again, I go from the jaw to the neck, and the neck to the jaw, so that I can move the flesh around very softly, very gently, in whatever way feels good. It's about exploring what direction feels relieving, or where you very gently slide the flesh and you can feel it somewhere else. You can feel it affecting the whole face or the whole jaw or the whole neck, or even relaxing your whole system. So I'm tracing around the outside of the jaw, just understanding the muscles there, underneath the ear, digging into the front of the ear, just in front of the earlobes there, finding the kind of gristly bit of the ear and where it joins the jaw. And then coming along the chin, underneath the chin, and the soft bit, and to the chin, and then I'm just gently moving around the mouth area, the upper lip, and then I just place my arms down. My tongue is so relaxed now. It's like really gormless. So I come back to rolling my head. My face feels quite different. Softer, more open. I'm just going to lengthen my legs and take a moment's rest. I'm going to roll to lie on one side, and the important thing is that I'm comfortable. So for me, I'm comfortable with my head on the ground, but otherwise I could put something underneath my head, a cushion, or I could lie on my underneath arm. But I'll just do what I'm comfortable with. I'm going to start to take my top shoulder up and down a little bit. I taught a much more detailed version of this in my actual. This is always bastardized Feldenkrais. I always use Feldenkrais as inspiration, but I taught an actual Feldenkrais class yesterday evening online, and did a full version of this class that I'm about to do bits of right now. So I'm taking my top shoulder a little up and down, a little towards my ear and a little away from my ear, down towards my waistline. For me it's the right shoulder, that's the top shoulder. I'm just doing what's comfortable without any effort. And then I pause. And then I take my shoulder forwards and backwards a little bit. And I see what's possible. That's much harder for me. Just forward and back, just a little bit. And notice that it's not so easy, that forwards is easier than back. I'm just sensing what's it like. I want to move my arm alongside my body. I think it's maybe going to be easier for me, so I adjust my comfort. And I keep trying to move my top shoulder forwards and back. I'm motivated to do this because I'm still having real problems just because of how much time I'm spending working on my phone, my expletive phone. So I pause, I just take a rest. And then I do little circles with my top shoulder. I just close my eyes so I can really try and sense the circle. It's not going to be perfect, but I just try and smooth off. And I notice which bits are easier with the circle. There's a kind of bit down there I can feel that's not so easy, then up there is easier, back there is nice. I have to change direction. I'm really doing a minuscule circle with my shoulder in an attempt to actually make it circular. So that means that I need to be able to go equally in every direction, which means scaling back the size of the circle a bit. Easier said than done. I really want to make it bigger, I really want to push it bigger, but I'm resisting that temptation. Just take a rest. I'm going to take my top hip up and down. And actually, because I have some pain in that hip, I'm going to just use my hand to help me. So my hand is on the top of my hip. And I can feel the hip moving up and down. It moves up, it goes closer to my shoulder. And then it moves down. It gets further away from my shoulder, closer to my heel. And as I do that, I'm always practicing this kind of global awareness. Could I release anywhere else? My belly, my chest, my legs, my hips, my feet. And I just rest. And then I come back, I can take my arm to my side again. So my arm is lying along my side. And I take my hip forwards and backwards rather than up and down. I can use my hand to help me feel what that's like. Because of course as my hip goes forwards and backwards, my whole upper leg is implicated in that. How can I make that as soft as possible and as easy as possible? And the hip has even less capacity for this movement than the shoulder does, so I have to make it small. And then try and go into a circle. I'm trying to circle my top hip. Not very circular yet, that's okay. Now change direction. Just notice if I'm pushing at all or straining. Make it even less ambitious, just circling the top hip. And then I rest again. I'm going to take my top hip and shoulder forwards and backwards together. The hip and the shoulder go backwards, the hip and the shoulder come forwards. That means it's clear to feel a rolling against the ground. My head can relax, my ribs are nice and soft on the ground. And then I take my hip forwards as my shoulder goes back. That's a little bit harder for me. I don't push it. Interesting that my hip likes to go back while my shoulder goes forwards. But wow, my hip does not like to go forwards while my shoulder goes back. I've got no rotation that way. That would be a strain for me to try. and push any further, so it's got to be so minimal. And I just try a few times. Hip and shoulder going forwards and backwards, but in opposite directions. And then I just lie down on my back and rest. I notice how I'm lying now. I roll my head side to side. My head rolls much better the way that it didn't roll at all before. And I just rest for a moment. And I'll do the other side. I'm going to roll to lie on my other side. Let's just turn my head around for camera. Starting just by making myself comfortable. This is my less comfortable side to lie on because it's my not so good hip. I'll just see what it's like to lie on this side first. Can I release and soften anywhere? Could I make myself more comfortable? And I start with a little forward-backward action of the shoulder on this side. Take my arm down by my side because it's going to help me feel that a little bit more clearly. I'm going to go up and down. Up and down feels so much easier having done forwards and backwards first. Nice and smooth. Just pause for a breath. And then I start circling that top shoulder. It's so small. Even though it's so small, I can feel all my tissue being moved around. Feel all my muscles in the shoulder getting kind of loose and what's the word I want? Kind of fuzzy. Change the direction of the circle. Yeah, I feel my chest opening and closing softly. And I rest. I take my top hip up and down on the second side. Harder for me to negotiate with my painful underside of my hips. I just come off for a second and then come back. Up and down with the top hip. And I just try to keep my attention drifting through my body to sense where else the movement is moving me, so I can feel my ribs moving, the belly moving. And feel the ribs right the way up under the armpit. Just take that top arm overhead just so that I can feel even clearer as I take my hip up and down. This change in the ribs under my armpit.
lengthening and shortening of the left side of my waist, the top side of my waist. On the underside of my waist too, I take my attention to the contact of my body with the floor. And I feel that my top hip going up and down is rolling my pelvis up and down, and that's changing the length of the sides of my body. And I just take a rest. And then I come into a little circle with the hip. How can I use everything? How can I use maybe the leg on the underneath side to help? And yet still make it small enough and unambitious enough that I have. Actually, even making it smaller makes it even harder. It doesn't always make it easier to go slower or go smaller. Sometimes it's much harder. So right now I'm just like, my circle's like can't even really work out where I am in the circle. I'm going to lift my top leg a little bit and rest on my fist here, putting my fist between my knees, just because I know that that's going to relieve a little bit of tension in my hip and make it a bit easier to slide my top. Make it a bit easier to circle my top hip. Because circling my top hip involves movement at the hip joint, involves the femur sliding. I change direction. Let my hand come out. That direction seems to be easier for me. And then I just rest on my side. On this side I'm going to try and circle. So it would be an option to just go back and play with the up and down that we did on the other side, but I want to circle my shoulder and hip in unison, so I'm trying to do that. Change the direction of the circle. And I change how the circles coordinate. This is really complicated and I'm not going to go into it, but just playing with different ways to coordinate the circle between the hip and the shoulder and changing direction. Different ways, different directions. I got lost, I got confused. I'm going to rest and lie on my back. And see how I'm lying. That's just a nice reset. I'm going to gradually just make myself work a little bit harder now, get a bit more muscular. Just saying it out loud so that I make sure I actually do it. I don't feel like doing all the small stuff today. I'll just have a wriggle, push my feet away, bring my feet up to standing, bring my hands up into the air, and just move my limbs, move my fingers, move my wrists, stretch, open up in different ways. Still really just trying to keep it very soft and luxurious. Rolling my head, rolling my body. I take my knees up above my belly and I hold on to my feet. If for anybody that's not possible, you can just hold on to their legs on the outside. Thumb with my finger. My thumb stays with my fingers. And I'm just going to take my knees in and out of my elbows and my elbows in and out of my knees. And as I do that, I release my jaw and my neck and I feel my mid-back pressing into the ground and I'm not pushing. And this just makes sense for me because I've done it for years now. And I do one way and one the other way. I do one at a time. My legs are going in and out of my elbow. I'm not trying to stay fixed in my place or fixed on my back. I'm not trying to stretch my legs, I'm just moving, and then I just do a few variations.
getting a little bit more into the legs, into the back of the body, but the whole thing is really more about opening up the back of the body into the ground and releasing everything else. So then I let go of my legs and I just rest again. And I feel that's opened up the front of my hips a bit. I'm going to just roll up to sitting, placing my fingers behind me, and roll my pelvis forwards and backwards in sitting, and come into some easy little press-ups, or rather tricep dips, but really soft. I'm really leaning back on my hands, but I can't go too far because of the restriction in my shoulders. So I'm just getting into the shoulders, and then I try to do a little circle with my shoulders. Again, for me, I can feel that in all of the tissue that goes all the way up or over my scalp, from my shoulders and all the way up over my scalp. Keeping my face soft, change the direction of the circle, and the other way. And rolling my pelvis forwards and backwards to lift my chest, stick out my belly, stick out my bottom, and then draw my belly in, or drop my chest, drop into my elbows a bit, drop the back of my body back, and then the other way again. Both ways, whatever's easy, and then I'm coming down into my elbows to do the same thing, rolling my pelvis. Let my legs do different things. I let my head do different things. Move my chest between my shoulders. Roll my pelvis. Move my legs. And then I'm just going to lie down because I'm so near the floor I can't resist. Oh, wow, and I feel my contact really changing with the ground now. So I'm going to have another little stretch. Stretching along, and then bring my legs in, bringing my feet to standing. And I interlace my hands behind my head. I've interlaced my hands the non-habitual way for me. And then I'm just coming to cross. Open up the body. And then cross. Open up the body. Open up those big muscles across the front of the chest, the breasts. Feeling the connection from my elbow right the way to my sternum. Across my sternum to the other elbow. And I'm just going to keep twisting and playing with that feeling of the tissue across my chest as I bring up one knee and then the other, and I reach my elbow over the knee. So I'm feeling a twisting through the center, keeping my elbows wide. Just rolling to show camera. Keeping my elbows wide because then I'm feeling this elbow to breastbone connection of this tissue here on both sides. Nice and wide across the collarbone. I use my hands just to feel that. The pecs. And then I just keep going, and I'm slightly flexing one foot as I bring it up, but my heel is just dropping down as I bring my knee up. And I just keep going. Sometimes I don't put my head down, I just roll across my back. My pelvis is relatively stable, not because I'm trying to fix it, but just because I'm making sure that I'm not rolling side to side. And sometimes I lay my head all the way down the center, through the center, and open my elbows so I can really feel that kind of breastbone to elbow connection. And then roll up, feeling really specifically the twist, just a little one. Really specifically the twist of lifting.
can feel that I'm working. I'm starting to shake a little bit because I've been going for some time. It's actually harder, smaller. I guess I'm working a mid-range now that I'm doing smaller ones, and I'm working the bit in the middle that's hard for me, rather than coming all the way up to the easier bit for me. Do some bigger ones again. It's getting to be quite hard work now. My elbows are going over my knee, not on top, not just to touch the tip, but we're trying to reach the elbow really over, really burning in my abdominals now, so just keep going a little bit more. Only because I'm able to do it, keeping my face soft, my shoulders wide and open. Whew. Can I just keep going, burning. And then stop. And lengthen my legs and just rest. Roll my head side to side. Feel the sort of tighter tissue across the front of my body now. But the ability to let go and spread out into the ground and the back of my body a little bit as well. A little bit arched, I'm not in neutral, but that's okay, it's just the way. So I'm going to bring my feet back up, and I'm going to do something similar, but this time a little bit more variation. So we're just crossing to reach onto the outside of one thigh, and crossing to reach onto the outside of the other thigh. And my feet are on the floor now. So I'm using my hands, and I can just come up as much as I want or stay down as much as I want. And I'm just going to keep using my hands. My hands help me draw my belly in, reach forwards over the knee, reach to the side. I'm not pulling myself on my thighs with my hands, but I'm just using the reaching to help me and the contact to help distract me. Reaching, twisting, looking for different points of access, not necessarily repeating anything. I'm going to keep doing the same thing but with my knees in a double knee fold, coming up, reaching, where can I reach with my hands, coming down. I draw my knees in, take my hands behind my thighs and push my legs away to come up, and then lower again to come down. And I'm just using not really a lot of momentum, but just this scooping. I do a lot of this in a kind of boat thing in Pilates where the heels are together, the knees are apart, the elbows are stay wide all the time, the hands behind the elbows, the hands behind the knees, sorry, and it's really scooping belly in, softening chest, feet push away, and that pulls the upper body pulled by the lower body, and then you can come all the way up to balance if you like, and then all the way down. And I often focus on them really slow because it's really more challenging. You hear the little voice shake. To really go slowly, especially also drawing the belly in. It's different from rolling like a ball, where I just fix my shape and roll. Much easier once you've understood it and you've got a nice soft floor and a round back, round enough back, tucking the tailbone under, drawing the belly in, nice wide round arms. The extra challenge is not to hold the arms at all. Abdominals, and then I'm just going to stay up. My feet are wide, fingertips by the side, pushing my belly forwards and rounding my back. pushing forwards and rounding my back. I'm not trying to keep my legs straight because I want some freedom in my hip joints. And it's more about moving my back right now. And then I keep my legs straight and point and flex my toes. And I just slide my hands down and feel my toes and feel my feet and point and flex. And see what it feels like to draw my belly in and push my belly out. In different positions with my head and spine. Keeping it soft, not pushing to my end of range. Circling the ankles. Maybe my feet a little bit narrower. And I'm going to roll down. Again, sinking the tummy. Rolling all the way back. Drawing my tailbone underneath, my back's rounding, my legs are long but soft, my heels drag on the floor and I lay my body down. I can't believe I'm about to attempt on camera to reverse that and come up again. Wow, that wasn't too bad, but I didn't try and talk at the same time. And I'm just going to play with that in different ways. So I'm trying to do a very soft version where I'm not like, I'm just going to show like a really sort of stiff version just to feel the difference as well for myself. For example, arms out, belly in, chest up, drop the tummy in under the ribs, tuck the tailbone under, softly, softly, softly back through the thing, except it's not really soft with my legs, it's solid, swearing on camera, rolling back, arms up, I don't have room overhead to stretch my arms overhead, the bed is in the way, so there is this like really kind of rigid version. There are infinite variations on that as well. But I want to just see, can I soften and do a soft version and take my time over it. And let go a little bit in the hips as I'm going. It's really hard. Cheat and use my hands on my thighs. Yeah, that's better. So I'm just going to help myself using my hands on my thighs a few times. Sliding my hands under my thighs to come down. Taking some of my weight, relieving some of the pressure on my hip flexors. Coming up, scooping my hands up underneath my legs. Letting my arms and legs be soft, so maybe they bend sometimes. Maybe they soften. And just coming and playing with these roll-ups and roll-downs. In different variations, my legs are further apart or closer together. Maybe can I do it with my feet together and my knees wide? My feet came off the floor then, so I'll try it again. Difficult for me, that one. So I just keep playing the last few, and I'm adding twists in so I get some nice oblique thing. My feet and legs are alive, I'm not just stiff. And it's tricky, so I use my hands on my thighs and I get down a little bit lower into it and then let my legs stay alive. Twist, go down a little bit lower. Look around, draw my belly in, come a little bit higher to tuck my tummy in a bit more, go lower again. Lower. Little rolling side to side over the back of my ribs now. Can I do that with my legs long? Quite a lot of work for me. Scooping my belly in, reaching my arms over, trying to stay wide across the collarbones. I'm going to do the same thing with my hands behind my head, rolling. Got this nice surface. If it doesn't roll nicely, make it smaller. A little roll, draw the belly in, make it smaller, get those front ribs down. Rolling on the back of the body, and then just rest. I'm going to do a kind of much more hardcore, or rather not hardcore, but just dynamic exercise just a few times, just because I need personally this like slap on the face today. So my arms and legs are long. Just going to prep it by checking my starting position, my arms and legs long, and then my finishing position, coming up into the smallest ball that I can. I've got to be very aware that I'm not going to knee myself in the face, so I could just bring my knees a little bit apart, drawing my belly in, making myself as small as I can. And I'm going to try and do that with my hands and feet on the floor to snap into that position just a few times. As fast as I can. That was so bad. I'm really conscious of hitting my bed. So annoying. Go that way. So I want to go in and out as quick as I can. It's really difficult. What I can sense is that I come back to a position that's got so much tension in it. Let's try a few more. I'm just actually going to do some circles, big circles with my arms. I feel I've done lots with my spine, but not so much with my arms. I just want to do some circles with them. Release my shoulders, get my shoulders ready. Arms above my head again. Last variation, I took my arms to the side because my neck needed it. Anyway, something to play with. Going onto my belly. Rolling my pelvis side to side. Coming up onto my elbows. Letting my belly out, baby style. Rolling, tucking my toes under. Opening up the back of my body, lifting a leg, lifting the other leg, lifting an arm, just trying to fly around, letting my belly out, no particular way, just trying to lengthen in different directions with a gentle arch, supported by one arm or the other, or supported by my back muscles. I'm going to roll onto my back for the last time and rest. Just sensing how I feel now. Roll my head side to side a bit. Soft in the jaw. Chill out. Oh my god, I'm thinking about toast already. I'm eating so much toast. Back onto my belly for a last little play around. I just feel the need to stretch through my toes and feet a little bit. So I'm just pushing my toes into the ground. Pushing myself up. Not in any particular way, but just playing with getting my toes tucked under. Stretching through my feet, through my legs, letting my head drop, coming back into a nice kind of press-up-y position, just to lower down, push up again, stretch my toes, take my feet wider and hang down, taking my pelvis side to side a little, bending my knees, looking around, just trying to keep it really soft, only what's possible, a little nice bit of movement. And I was closing my hips, so now I just finished opening my hips. Nice rolling. Letting my belly go. Tucking my toes under, pushing back and crouching. I want a bit of pressure on the top of my head, so I just take the crown of the head to the ground and play with the pressure on my head. All these things I need to wake me up and to ground me. little freestyling pressure on my head. Rolling my head on the ground. And again taking myself into a plank. And just giving in to belly stretch. Last time. Just do a nice push up or two. And then push my pelvis up, stretch my arms out. Hey! All the way into a nice low crouch. All the way up to standing. Nice little move. Get rid of tension. Fling my arms away from me. Get rid of my limbs a little bit. And then stand. Check in with how I feel. Nice balance. I feel a bit more grounded, a bit lower, a bit stronger, a bit more equal. Then take a walk. Quite quick, I notice I'm walking quite speedily. And that's it. I stop. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. Share, blah blah blah, social media, blah blah blah. Let me know if you have any thoughts or feedback or comments or anything. You can contact me on Instagram or via my website. Comments on YouTube is a pain because people leave really rubbishy spam as well. So, but you can comment on Instagram, I think. Nice to have some nice comments as well as just the spam. And yeah, next week should be a different time, so I'll confirm, but probably 11 o'clock, Monday to Friday. Thank you so much for joining. Anything else to say? Gosh, it's terrifying ending the stream.